Should have fixed the issue, everybody, so apologize for that weirdness. So yeah, I just saw that like everybody in the chat was saying that oh, it's good ring system. Should have fixed the issue, everybody, so apologize for that weirdness. So yeah, I just saw that like everybody in the chat was saying that interesting. Anyways, so yeah, just let me know if you guys are here. I don't know again why it wasn't working properly, but you know, is what it is, I guess. But anyways, for those just joining me here, we are working on the oh, thanks King Boars. Anyways, so yeah, just new haircut. You guys are here. Matt, yeah, actually, you guys haven't seen me like because I haven't recorded an actual video for. Actually, you haven't seen me live since the last time I was live. So yeah, I got my haircut. Got the stylish beard, so hopefully that hater shows up to tell me how much he hates it. Thanks, but you know. Anyways, okay, so you know, for those just joining us, because the stream was all weird, that was everything's all echoey. Actually, you haven't seen me live since the last time I was live, so turn off that. Yeah, I got my haircut. Got the stylish beard, so hopefully that hater shows up to tell me how much he hates it. Echoes awful, matey. You know. Anyways, it shouldn't be echoing. Okay, so, I see. You know, for those just joining us, because the stream was all weird, that was everything's all echoey. Actually, you haven't seen me live since the last time I was live, so turn off that. We will change this to literally not this. Just literally anything other than that. Echoes awful, matey. Okay, so that should fix that issue, to be honest. Just know, I think I got to turn on my headset. That's what the issue was last time, because I had my headset as my output, so it didn't do anything stupid. Anyways, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, sorry, getting back to it. So we're doing the budget, the spawn manager with the budget. So I've created an enemy class. I've created 3 different enemies that we're going to spawn. Inside the enemy class, we have an enemy rank, which I made an enum for. It's literally just Grunt, Specialist, and Elite. And then I've created an enemy cost. We've set that Grunt is 1, Specialist is 2, Elite is 5. And I was just debating how to do the guaranteed drops of enemies, basically. Let's maybe... I'm wondering if... There's 2 ways you could do this. You could do this with a budget, or you could set the actual enemies. Like, if you wanted to set the actual enemies, I would actually create an array of enemies. Yes, let's do that. So let's do, yeah, we'll do, instead of enemies to spawn as a object or whatever, can we do can you do an array with a soft glass? You can, so we'll try this way instead. Yeah, real time, I know, well, I mean, you know, to be fair, I guess the stream wasn't working for some reason, so, yeah, no one voted because no one was here. So, yeah, not sure what happened there, but, okay, anyways. Let's figure this out here. So if we do this, I just want to check. Great. So this actually gives us control over what enemies to spawn. I actually like that better, but if you wanted to do some randomized spawns, I would actually accomplish that probably with this and a for loop. And then get a random, yeah, well, I'll figure that out here in a second, but... okay, so on event begin play, we're not going to do anything. We want to do a custom event so that we can trigger this to start at some point. So we'll do a custom event. Actually, we need some way to bind this to whatever trigger box. So let's create a trigger box of some variety. I'm wondering if that should be blueprints. What the hell is that? Oh, is that post-processing? Let's create a blueprint for that. So we'll make a new blueprint class, type actor, and it'll just be called enemy trigger. Always forget you can't put spaces in. I just like to have things neat, but you know, whatever, I guess. Okay, enemy trigger. Let's move that over. Poop Kraken, great name, by the way. Would not want to get pooped on by a Kraken, that'd be awful. Your tutorials are great, thanks for them, dude, appreciate you, thanks. Can you do making a digging system that lets you dig into the ground? That would be hard, but that would actually be really hard. I'm just trying to think how that would even work. Probably, obviously, you know, I'm thinking of games like Eco and obviously Minecraft, ones that have the data there, and then as you dig into the earth or whatever, like it then generates the static meshes and stuff that would align with that data, but it doesn't load them in right away, obviously, because it would break the game. So, for a digging system, it depends. It depends if you want to dig like far into the ground or if you just want to dig something up. If you want to dig something up, I think that would just be probably a static mesh that you spawn there, because you dig and then you would replace like the impact point with like a static mesh of some variety that has like, you know, height data and stuff, right? So that's probably what I would do if it's just one thing. If it's digging into the ground itself, I actually would not know how to do that. Going to be something to do with yeah, that's tough. I'm sure chat here will have an idea on how to accomplish that. But yeah, we'll put that into our requests here, and then I can do some research on that, and then we can do it live here. Okay, so it's been done to death. The CCTV, yeah, 100%. But I mean, I had to kind of figure out how I would do that if that got suggested, so I didn't know how to do that. Okay, anyways, back to this. For the spawn manager, we need basically to get a reference to this enemy trigger. So we'll add a box collision. I like the box collision because if you have to make this the root for any reason, the box extent can actually control the size, which is nice. Which is, I'm going to make that the root just by default. I'm going to go into the construction script and we're going to set the box extent here. Set box extent, promote this to a variable, make this instance editable, and plug that in. That way we can see our changes live in the editor while we put this out. So let's just do that now. So we'll drag out the enemy trigger. Did I not? Oh, because it's set to 0, 0. Look at me. Can't hear the Krusty the Crown laugh. The Krusty the Crown laugh because I turned off my desktop because I was making some noise. Anyways, I can actually fix that. One sec. Let's unplug that. Plug that in. Wait for a second, and then I will change the output, and then I can turn the things back on. Oh. Headphones. Those are the ones. Now when I do this, check, 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 there it goes. Okay, so now I can do fun stuff like this. Alrighty, so make this 100, 100, and 100 by default, even though that's pretty small, but it just at least gets it in the world so we can see it. Okay, and then now we can make it a bit bigger. Let's do... Is it this way? No. We don't need a very big trigger box, unless you're a speedrunner, or you're building for, you know, to counter speedrunners. So let's move this up, and then we'll drop this down. Do something like that for a trigger box. Let's move our player start over here so we can test it out. 9, so we'll start there. We'll put our spawn pad over here, just so we can see what's going on there. Okay, so in the enemy trigger... let's move our player start... sorry, one sec here. Sorry, I need to be... I will be 1 sec here. Just 1 sec. Okay, never mind, sorry. Okay, so we got the trigger box there. Let's put the spawn pad down. Oh yeah, I got distracted, sorry. I need to put a variable in here that is the spawn pad, we'll call it, and then that'll be a reference to our BP underscore spawn manager. And that'll be a object reference. We'll make that instance editable, and then we can select in the world which one we want to reference. So let's now drag the spawn manager into the world. We don't have anything in here yet, so why don't we actually just add like a pad or something in here. So spawn manager, we'll add the static mesh. We'll call this the pad, and we'll find some sort of circle of some variety. Oh, there's got to be something in here that's just a regular old circle, so I just got to make one, I guess. What's this? Control rig hexagon solid? What's that? Perfect. That serves our purpose. We'll compile what kind of material. We'll just do. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. Pretty small, so we'll scale that up, obviously. Whoops. Let's block that. We'll just make this. We'll just do like 5 or something. Sure, that looks good here. All right, just looking at some comments here. The echo's back. Is it now? It shouldn't be back. All right, I'll just disable the. I'll figure that out. That shouldn't be because I don't have any volume on my desktop. Ah, I see the issue. There you go. It's gone now. I saw the issue. I had my live page open in the background. I don't have headphones on, obviously, so I couldn't hear it. So, there. Sorry, guys. Anyways, we got this here. Not the same. Appreciate the live. Thanks. Yeah, echo again. It's different, but back. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the issue. Is I had it playing in the background because I don't have any levels on my desktop app anymore. So, or desktop audio here. So, anyways, okay. So we got our pad now. Now we got to figure out what to spawn here. So we'll go into our event graph here. We will create that custom event here, and we'll call it spawn enemies. Okay, first we need to grab this, and so we need to load all of these into memory. I wonder, yeah, so I guess we'll need a for each, hey? You can't do a for each with these, can you? Oh, you can. My F key just wasn't working. For each loop. Okay, so here we go. We need to load all these into memory, so we need to async load a class asset. Okay, and we need to then cast, because this is just a object class reference, so that's anything in Unreal Engine, so we need to specifically cast to BP underscore enemy class. Okay, and make sure we disconnect this, and we're going to go out of completed. Okay. I'm wondering if Patrick, welcome to the stream. We are working on a enemy spawning manager, so we can choose what enemies are spawning in different places. So, okay. Just looking at the comments to see. So just to answer your question, like digging a hole or something. So SLRX, that manipulates the mesh. Tracking digging system. Yeah. So that manipulates the mesh. I wonder if I'm not the best with materials. I don't know if decals or decals can modify the actual like height map of a mesh. I'm pretty sure it can. I'm just kind of thinking, because if you dig into the ground, you could add a decal or decal. I call it decal because I'm Western Canadian. That's what we say here. You guys can make fun of me all you want. But what was I gonna say? Yeah. So and then if you had a decal there and it should have height data, that should manipulate the mesh or at least give the yeah. Someone in chat probably would know better for that, but I think that would work for the digging hole thing for sure. Just gonna try to spawn actor to the async. Pretty sure that still works. No, are you talking about coming out of here? No, that won't work because if the asset is not loaded into memory, by the time it hits this cast node, it's going to fail. So we need to make sure this comes out of completed so that we are casting to something that is actually loaded into memory here. So, okay, so we've are loading our asset into memory here, and then we need to do some stuff, so, like actually spawn them into place here. So, we will come out of here, we will spawn actor of class, and that will get plugged into here. Spawn transform will be the default scene route here, so let's split this. Oh no, sorry, let's not split that. Let's just get our default scene route and get world transform. Plug that in here. Collision handling settings, we need to Is it try to adjust? Yeah, try to adjust location, but always spawn. We'll have that one on. Otherwise, they're all going to spawn basically in the same spot, and then they're all going to be colliding, so it's just going to have to move those meshes over. We probably could make, like, individual little spawn points for all the little things, and then just randomly choose one or something like that, but that's a bit extra for what the request for the system was. Okay, so... okay... Yes, Zero Dev gave... Zero to Game Dev. Brain. Work not. Anyways, so, yeah, I agree. He agreed with me there on the, coming out of completed, so... Anyways, we are spawning the actor, and we need to grab the actors that we want, and then we have to make this budget come into play somewhere. See, that instead of... I mean, this is good to, like, load them into... You know what? Actually, this could be used instead to control the, what enemies you want to spawn, period. So maybe you don't want elites to spawn. You want just specialists or grunts, or maybe just grunts, or whatever. Square Peg makes games. We are making a, spawn managing system. Let me put that in the chat and pin it, because that's the second time someone's asked that. Today... we are making... and I will pin that to the top. Pin message. Alright, so there we go. We now, hopefully, it's clear what I'm doing here today. So, yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out where to add this budget in. Yeah, so we'll load all the enemies that we actually want this spawn manager to actually use. And then... after that, maybe here we can add that budget in. So we will get our enemy pardon me, not set it. We will get our enemy budget. And just where... just trying to think, because we would want to set this so that we can manipulate it later, or not get overrode by it. I was just thinking if we can add up, because we, in the enemy base, we set the enemy cost, so I'm just wondering if we can, set the minimum value for this. Can we do that in the construction script? Probably. Yeah, let's do it in the construction script. Let's grab, we'll get a for each out of this. That's really weird that F as the short key doesn't work for a for each loop with a soft reference. You have to type it out manually. That's interesting. Oh, no, Dominic, welcome. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, great. I'm glad that you joined and we're making the thing that you're asking for here. So, where can I learn how to create the enemies? Sorry, it wasn't that complicated to create the enemies. Everybody, sorry if you're joining late here. So you just create basically a regular Blueprint character class type enemy, and that'll be your parent class. I've only made an enum, that's enemy rank, which is our grunt, specialist, and elite, and then enemy cost, and that's literally all that's in here right now. And then you're going to make children for all the different types of enemies that you actually want. Then we change the static meshes for all of them, so the specialists are red, the elites are gold, and the grunts are just the regular Manny color. I see that Manny is not, like, in his capsule. So let's change that in here. I guess I would just go on the ground. See how that happens. There we go, something like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's all that's in here, and then we obviously set those variables in our class defaults, which was, where'd the defaults go? Here we go, enemy rank and enemy cost. So that's all we've done here, so there's nothing, nothing too crazy here. I'm not doing AI or health or anything like that. This is literally just to show you how to spawn enemies with the manager here, so... okay, spawn manager, we are in the construction script. We're going to find out how many enemies we want, different types of enemies we want to spawn. And then we're going to, I guess we have to load it into memory to access that variable, hey? So that's not going to work then. Yes, never mind, that's not going to work. I guess we can just add a description here. I'm just thinking of, like, for a level designer, right? Budget of how many enemies yeah, that's right, enemies to spawn. And then I'll add 1 equals grunt, 2 equals specialist, and 5 equals elite. Okay, there, we got that note in there for our level designer to do their thing. So, now we gotta figure out how to randomly spawn a bunch of enemies. And how to do a guaranteed drop of stuff. Let's maybe make another variable that'll be integer. Whoops, we don't need 64. We don't need world coordinates for that. Single. Okay, yeah, let's do this. We'll just do number of elites to, or sorry, minimum. We'll say minimum number of elites. And make that instance editable. We'll just duplicate that. We'll do the same thing for specialists. And minimum number of grunts. And that's instance. Okay, great. So we'll do that just so we can tell it how many of each to spawn. This might break it a little bit. Because if you put minimum number of elites to spawn, 2, and then you put, 2 for the other ones, well, it's going to spawn 2 elites, and then maybe the budget's spent already, right? So, unless we take this. Oh, this is a brain bender. So maybe I'm just trying to think how we can either set the enemy budget manually, or we can set the number of things and then add it up, and then but that's the minimum number. Oh, forget it. Let's just spawn these randomly here. Based on this budget here. Okay, so we're gonna spawn actor of class. This is where we're gonna get the data on get budget cost or not. Get cost. Yeah, get enemy cost. That's what we called it. Okay, and then we're going to minus that from the budget. I wonder if we should do a while loop. That's what we should do. So we'll get a while loop. So for those who don't know what this is a loop that will continuously fire the loop body until it fails. So we need to add some sort of condition in here for it to fail, which in our case will be, is the enemy budget 0? Okay, and before we spawn in, we also got to check if we have enough budget for the enemy that they want to spawn. I actually don't know if you can get. I know we can get the get enemy budget here, or we should be able to get cost. Sorry, enemy cost. We should be able to get it from there. Maybe I got to compile. Okay, Dominic says, the background of my idea is he has a dungeon generator and he doesn't want to manually place monsters, only spawn points. The system should decide which spawn point used based on a set budget. So, okay, that's fine. I'm sure you're going to add trigger zones, because that's what I'm doing here for the enemies to spawn in. There aren't too many enemies or even elite ones. Even subsequent dungeon floors should naturally become harder. Basically, I want to provide the map with the budget, a monster list, and the spawns. Locations, classic procedural. Oh, I see. Make GTA 6, please. Yeah, I'll do that in 20 minutes. Alright, so... Alright, I understand what you're looking for here. Just trying to think how that would work if you wanted multiple things on a floor to have. Like, if you just typed a budget in... Like, you want to type a budget in one time, like, the budget is 50, and then you want that to be basically divided up amongst all of your spawn points. Is that kind of what you're looking for? 15, yeah, I mean... Sounds about right. I know a guy that can do it in 10, but we won't talk about him. Anyways, so... Let's see... Oh, thanks, Ente. Appreciate your kind words there. That's great. Glad you enjoy my content here. Yeah. Make GTA in 10 minutes. Or I switch to Unity. Anyway, so... Okay, we got the while loop here. I like your idea for the budget. So the condition is the enemy budget does not equal 0. Okay, so that's the condition for this while loop for it to fail. Okay, how old am I? If you're asking that question, hopefully I look at a reasonable age. I'm in my 30s, if that helps everybody. Came from the 90 era, but anyways, so we got while loop. Let's check our budget. So does our... Oh yeah, I was confused why this wasn't working. Get... Because this is in here, so this should be accessible. Compile spawn manager. Okay, okay. I see. So I see what you're looking for, Dominic. So I'm gonna work on this. I will see how I can implement that into this thing here. That'll be a get all actors of class type of situation, and then we can do a random integer amount. Okay. I see. Okay, I see what you're looking for. Okay. Alright, anyways, I'm just still confused why I can't get enemy cost from my class reference, but that's interesting. Obviously, you can get it from here because it's the individual one, but this is available in here, so I'm confused. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So, we just need to check and make sure that we have enough budget left. So this is checking that it's not 0, so it's going to run the loop body again. Do we have enough budget left to spawn the current thing here? How do we do that without having a reference to it yet? Number of spawn points affect budget. Yes, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for... If we have, so we only have one spawn point right now in the world, so if if he makes a huge level, or dungeon, or whatever the case is, if he has 15 of these scattered around, he's just got to tell Unreal that we want the budget to be, 100, and then it's going to take, we're going to get all actors of class, we're going to divide that by, we're going to get a random integer, from that 100, and then we're going to minus it from the budget, and then we're going to give it to one of these pads, and then it's going to do that for all of them, right? So that's what I think how you do that. But right now I'm trying to figure out how to get a reference to my enemy cost without getting this reference, because we want to check if there's any budget left before we spawn this particular class of enemy. Well, you know what? First things first, let's actually disconnect this while loop. Let's just make sure that, this works first. Spawn enemy, and, because, yeah, we want to make sure we can actually spawn all the enemies that we put in this specific thing here. So, let's just check that out now here. So we'll go here, click on this guy. Enemy budget will do, it doesn't matter because that doesn't do anything yet. Neither does that. So we just need the enemies to spawn. So we'll do all 3 of our enemies. We'll do the elite. We'll do the grunt, and we'll do the specialist, and we will hit save, we'll hit play, and we'll go through our trigger box, and nothing happens, so let's see what happened there. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually call that event, that's silly. I didn't call this event from my, right, where's my trigger box? I gotta click on my trigger box, I need to, where is it? Spawn pad, I gotta do this little eyedropper and choose that spawn pad. So that has a reference to that now, and then inside our enemy trigger, we are going to event actor begin overlap never works for me. I don't know what it is about that thing; it just never works. So I don't even use it anymore. I do on component begin overlap for the trigger box here. Okay, so this one, other actor, we need to get equals, and we need to get player character. That saves a cast. So we don't have to do that. So yeah, is it a player character? So just reading Dominic's comments here, because as he's the one who's requested this one here. So, yeah, is it a player character? So, just reading Dominic's comments here, because as he's the one who's requested this one here. So, just reading Dominic's comments here, because as he's the one who's requested this one here. So, just reading Dominic's comments here, because as he's the one who's requested this one here. He's usually placed around 4 to 5 spawn points per room. Only set a budget so that the system doesn't fill everything up with monsters. Okay. To prevent only elites or bosses from spawning, there should be, of course, a percentage chance that determines how likely the system is to pick a monster from the list. Right. So instead of minimum amount to spawn, maybe we do spawn rate instead. For example, 10% for elites, 40% for goblins, and so on. Okay, got it. We'll change that after here. So first we are going to do that, and we're going to get the spawn point, and we're going to trigger that event, which is spawn enemies. That is all. We're going to compile. Well, it'll work now, because I don't know what the hell I was doing. Alright, we spawned all the enemies, and they spawned inside each other. Look at that. So, obviously there's something not working with this. I wonder for this, we'll get the world transform, and then perhaps we will... let's break this. Let's split this. I'm just thinking, because we just need to manipulate the location. So the rotation... they should ideally be face... we'll randomize the rotation as well. Random. Can we do random? No, we have to split it. That's lame. So let's break this. Oh, not into axes, into break rotator. We'll split this. We will add X into X and Y into Y, and it's just the Z we need to randomize. So we'll get random float and range. And sorry, I guess we'll disconnect that. We'll do 0 and 360, and then we'll plug that into the Z. Yeah. Okay, great. That's what we want. The scale we'll plug right in here, and then location, we want to randomize that just a little bit, not too much, obviously. The while loop, I'm just going to get this out of the way, because we're going to use that later, but not right now. Okay, so for location, I think we'll just... maybe we'll do the same thing. We'll break vector, and... actually, we don't even need to break the vector. We need to... that'll put it at the world origin, so actually we do need to break the vector. And we need to add it to split. Here we go. Okay, this is what I was looking to do. Let's make this a collapsible graph, because Jesus, this will be messy. We can do that after when we're all done here. But yeah, we'll get another random float and range times 3. Times 2 actually, because the Z we don't want to do. We don't want them to be, you know, off floating in space somewhere. Okay, so the X and the Y, I think maybe we'll do minus 100 and 100 for both of these. We'll see what that looks like. And I'll plug that into location. And the Z will be the same as this, right? You know what? Maybe we should, I should break this. Break vector. I'm just thinking about the Z. Like if you have it not at 0, like if you have it like on a mountain or something, it'll be obviously different, right? So, okay, so Dominic says, additional question, would that also work if the spawn happens during the loading screen? If so, the player doesn't experience insane lag when all the spawns... that's kind of why I would use a trigger box throughout your dungeons, because obviously we did a soft reference so that your enemies aren't loaded into memory until you... you know what, though? Maybe when you're, like, because if you're doing, like, just individual, like, levels for your dungeon floors, I think probably better would be for you to load the enemies that are going to be spawning in the world when you're loading into the map, just because if you don't want any lag for your play or anything like that, and, like, the first time you hit a trigger box and they load into memory, they're already loaded into memory, so you might as well, probably load them in, especially if your floors aren't that big and you only have a certain amount of enemy types. I don't know. I think boss stuff, if you have like a room at the end of something that has like a big boss in it, I would probably not load the boss until you hit a trigger box just before that boss room or something like that. But, yeah, I would agree with 0 to game dev in terms of trigger it and then have it async load. Call spawn manager and begin play. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. So yeah, there's a couple ways you could do it. But anyway, so let's get back to this here. I gotta add the X into this, and then that becomes the X, and then I gotta add... Come on, Y. There we go. Okay, so that is what we gotta do here. And what was this here? This was the... Oh, this was the original vector, so I can actually delete this, I believe. Yes, I can delete that. This is now the X. I gotta break that too now. Let's just make a rotator, or make a vector so that we can keep all those wires away from that mess there. As best we can. Alright, there we go. So we've made that abomination of a randomized thing. We'll collapse that to a graph so you don't have to look at it. We'll just say random spawn around pad for enemies. Woo. We'll call this... What's... X rotation, just because, you know, I always get confused about these. Y rotation. Return value 2 was the scale. Or no, it's not. It's the Z rotation. This is the scale. And this is the location. Cool. That's done. Let's hit compile. Let's see what happens now when we spawn our peoples in. Alright, so I gave them random rotations, spawn them in slightly different spots. That's great. Just curious what that 100, a negative 100 by 100, so it's a 200 Unreal Engine unit thing here. We want top perspective so I can see. Unreal's going to do Unreal things. Stand by. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I don't want that here. Where's the spawn pad? There you are. I just want to see how long 200 is. It's actually not that much. So we can increase that amount to, the spawn pad's 430, but you can even do it probably 500, so it'd be negative 250 by 250 on this here. You can make these variables if you want to. If you want to, obviously, control that in your game if you have a specific level that you want to use it for, or if you have the specific parameters like this, like I want to spawn it on my pad, then I'm just going to do this, right? So it's going to get the default scene route, which is right in the middle. It's wherever the pivot point is here, right? So this little colorful thing here. So that's literally right in the middle. So now literally anywhere, you know, 250 negative or positive in either direction, it's going to do that here. So let's check that out here. We'll go back to perspective. Alright. Alright, pretty cool. Obviously, you'd want to have the trigger box not direct... Oh, just keep spawning people in. That's neat. That'll obviously fix when we have a budget, so... but you can see that that's working as intended here. It's spawning in people randomly. However, it's not snapping them up to the floor, even though it should be, considering they have a capsule component here. Unless I didn't set these correctly. Collision presets pawn. Should be plopping them up. If I put them in the world, they'll probably plop up. Yeah, he plops up. Just this in general, yeah, it plops up. So, yeah, that's super weird that they don't plop up. I wonder if that has something to do with this guy here. Always spawn, ignore collisions, try to adjust location. Let's try to adjust location, but don't spawn if it's still colliding. Let's see what happens. One of these doesn't work at all, to be honest. Okay, so it spawned one guy. There's two guys. So, I mean, that fixes the issue of them clipping into the ground. But doesn't really work with your budget, does it? Maybe what we should do is we should add some Z value there so that they spawn in the air, in a sense, and then fall to the ground. So let's do that. Let's do Z, and we'll just do add, and we'll do, I don't know, we'll do 50 seems pretty good. And then we'll change this back to try to adjust but always spawn. Interesting. But they don't fall to the ground. Do I have to simulate? No, I can't simulate physics or else animations won't work. Anyways, let's see what we got here. Could you possibly simplify that with a random point in bounding box? Probably. Actually, I've never used that, so let's see here. I'll just search for it. I don't know if it comes up. Random point in bounding box. I see. Yeah, that's way better. The center, let's just cut that and put it in here. BCG coming up with some high-level shit. Come on. Bounding box and center, let's just plug that in. The center would be obviously this. Copy, paste. And the half size. Oh, okay, so this would be too, well, it depends how big your monsters are, right? So I don't think it matters how tall this is, does it? I guess it would, in a sense. We'll do 300 for this. And then we'll do 500 by 500. That's probably what we want, hey? Get rid of that. And then these need to be here anyway for that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good call there, BCG. Line trace down. Yeah, we could do that too. That's good. That's a good point. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, look at that bounding box stuff. That's a pretty big bounding box, though. So maybe, I guess I would just need 250, hey? From the center, right? Yeah, it makes sense. There we go. Okay, line trace down. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Line trace down. Once it hits something, snap it to the floor, basically. Okay, so event graph. That'll be inside our enemy here, so we'll do... we won't make a function because it's just going to be... I guess off the begin play we'll do it. So we'll get our mesh, I guess. Yeah, the mesh, and we'll get root. Not root, sorry. Get world. Yeah, world transform. Sorry, I was just thinking about what the thing I needed, which is the location, and then we're gonna need get rotation. World rotation. Oh, get up vector, I think is what we want, right? Get up vector. And then we need to minus that by a certain amount. Let's get the line trace by channel here first. Visibility. Start will be the world location. The end will be the... this times... Oh... we'll do float, and it'll be minus, let's do like 200. And then we'll add this back into the location. There we go. So that should work. Let's just draw a debug. We'll just say persistent here, so we can see what we're working with. And yeah, so that should be enough to just see the debug and see if it works here. Okay, so it did. It worked. It's working for all of them. Perfect. So now we just need to set location. Yeah, we'll add a branch here for a blocking hit to make sure we hit something. And then we will go true, and we'll set world location. Whoops. Or world origin. Sometimes I bring out nodes, and I'm like, I have no idea what that node is. Happy accident for some of them, to be honest. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that node was a thing. Okay, sorry, let's just look at some stuff here. Haven't made loading screen yet. I'll definitely find a way to load everything beforehand. As for those boss cities, I think it makes sense. Usually the boss appears with a small group. Yeah, I just, in general, bosses shouldn't be loaded at all into memory. including with hard references. If you have a hard reference to your boss at any point in the game, it'll load it into memory and you don't need the boss, right? So that's where soft references are good. You should be able to get data asset related stuff from the boss from a soft reference, question mark. I actually can't remember that. But anyways, yeah, not good to have your boss loaded into memory until the boss is actually needed, because obviously your boss's textures and you know, their animation tree and everything is going to get loaded into memory if you reference them in any way, right? So anyways, what was I doing here? I was set world location or transform location capsule component, because it's the root, and then everything else will follow it. The new location, we're going to come out of here, we're going to break this hit result, and we're going to go to impact points. Let's see if that works. Compile. Hey, that almost didn't work. So is the mesh just off? Or should the mesh have collision on it, maybe? Is that the issue too? Character mesh. It should, yeah, it should be not clipping. Oh, it's on query only. I wonder if, I mean, I'm just going to change this to collision enabled. A little bit expensive, but I mean, you're going to want collision stuff anyway. It's still spawned in the floor. That's super weird. We'll change this back to whatever it was. Character mesh. Let's see. I don't get it because it's an overlap event. It's not overlapping. I'm really new. I don't have programming knowledge. Okay, so an overlap event and a hit event are not the same, obviously. So on this hit result here, it has a blocking hit is if this hits something that has collision on it, right? So if you have anything in Unreal Engine that has a collision setting and you have it set to ignore, and this line trace hits it and it's set to ignore, it's not going to have a blocking hit because its collision setting is not set to block, right? So overlap is this totally is just a totally different thing, right? It'll fire off different events based on if they overlap with one thing or not. So obviously, like in this, where are we here? In this enemy trigger, right? So we have this box collision. When we overlap it with our player, right, equals player, then we're going to do something, right? So our player has overlapped with this particular trigger box. That's fine, right? So maybe you want so this is actually a good example. This trigger box we want to overlap with, but we don't want our blocking hits to hit stuff, right? So if you're doing an FPS game and you have line traces for your guns and you shoot a gun, it's going to hit this line trace if you have it set to block, right? Or this trigger box, sorry. And then your bullet's going to it's going to add decals and not hit your enemy, right? So you don't want that. You want things to overlap with this and trigger overlap events, but not do blocking events, right? So anyways, try normal, I think. I'm gonna butcher this name. I don't know. I literally don't know how to say it. It's just like, it's the K with all the vowels. It's like kawaii. I don't know. It's not kawaii. Like some Japanese. Kawaii. Senpai. Just kidding. Set actor location. I will try that for sure. Interesting voice. Hello. I did do voice work, actually, that back in the day, for those who didn't know. So, yeah, got a collection of voices I can do, but, anyways, yeah, that's a tough gig to get into. Set world location, set actor location, you're right, 100%. I guess I wouldn't do that at capsule components, sorry, you're right. Set actor location. Boom. Okay, so we got this. We want impact points. Let's see if this works. No! They still like the ground. What else we got? Set actor location didn't work. Also try the normal. Like, oh, snap to normal. Yeah. You know what, actually, the set actor location, yeah, and the capsule component should be working. I don't know why it's not working. That just doesn't make any sense to me. We'll click teleport as well. The impact normal. I've never used it to set a location for something, except for, like, decals and or whatever. Let's try it. I think I know what you're thinking when you're suggesting that. Let's see what happens. But I mean, the issue is it moves it down too far, so... Oh, okay, didn't even put him on at all, so we're not going to do that. We're going to do the impact point. So, it just puts him down too far. And, like, the whole point of this is to make sure that they don't snap into the floor, or go into the floor, so that's really strange. Let's see here. Currently doing it with a trigger. What would be the limitation if I wanted to trigger it when a player is about to open the first door? If you have a door that you need to interact with to open, that interaction event on that door is where I would fire off this particular event to spawn the characters in, or the enemies, or something like that. Mr. Dr. Elliot, howdy. That would be a driver's license right there. Sorry, Mr. No. Doctor? No, it's Mr. Doctor. Right, so anyways. Alright, and if I missed your guys' comments, I apologize. I'm just trying to, obviously, get through all this stuff here, and I'm trying to get caught up here. Doing it with the trigger, yes. Everyone always butchers my name close enough. Alright. Hopefully it wasn't too far off. Really good with Japanese names, because I was learning that for a little bit, so... yeah, the rest of the world, not so much, Plus, I'm Canadian, so I say everything wrong anyway, right? So, anyways, set actor location didn't work. It put them back on the floor, so why would that be? I wonder if the mesh itself, like if I put, we were using, I have them open, so I'll just go to the Elite, for example, and I'll just open this up, and I want to drag this into the world. Where's this? It's the pivot point's on the bottom, so it should be snapping to the floor with that pivot point. Should it not? Huh. That's bizarro. But that's not working. Can you show the mesh component layout again and the collision profiles? I'm pretty confused right now. Yes, I can. So, where are we? We're in the... Oh, yeah, you're talking about for this. So we're going to do this in the enemy, obviously. So the capsule component we have, it's set to pawn, which is fine. The camera, yeah, everything, that all looks great. The mesh itself, it's on character mesh, which means that it should be blocking world static and world dynamic, which the floor is. So that's interesting. Not sure why that's... not working, or why it just puts the pawn in the thing anyway. And visibility, trace complex. No, that wouldn't matter. Unreal Engine is an interesting program. A lot of things don't make sense. Yes. Well, the funny thing about programming in general, like especially like in here, like obviously us as human beings, we're able to intuitively think about something. And understand why it works. Computers, you have to literally be super literal, like, I want this to happen at, you know, exact blah, 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 right? So otherwise, and the computer's doing exactly what it's being instructed to do, right? But obviously, we're like, why is it not working? Just because logically it should work in our brain, but like the computer's just reading all of this data, and then when it puts all the data together, that's what it gets, right? So, yeah, that's, if I'm having trouble, like, debugging something, like right now, for example, I just kind of have to like look at it like extremely basic logic, right? So, and then obviously the more you know the engine, the better, right? Like I knew the pivot point usually is what it snaps to the floor, or like whenever I say to move the actor, but the pivot point is at the bottom where it should be. So that doesn't make any sense. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I assume it is some sort of collision setting. Get actor location. Get actor. Well, we don't need the get actor of transform because that's what the line trace is doing. We're telling it because we. I don't know how long you've been watching or whatever, but our enemies were spawning in the ground, so we told the enemies to spawn up higher, and then now we're drawing a line trace to actually find the ground, and then we were going to snap them to the ground, right? So getting an actor location wouldn't matter in this case because that's what the line trace is doing. It's finding that ground that we want to snap to, right? So, I wonder if we break this impact point, or break vector, and we'll break the vector here too. What if we just... that it somewhat gave me an idea. No, this won't work. Sorry, my apologies. Don't do this. This will not work. Just had to think about that in my brain for a second. Alright, set actor location. Yeah, that's super weird. I don't know, I'm just gonna watch it again, and maybe my brain will have an epiphany or something. Because they both... See how they both went into the same spot? You know what? Let me just keep spawning enemies. I'm kind of curious. Okay, I was wondering if it did it to all of them, or if it did it to just those two, because I think I remember... Because before we had this line trace, some of them did spawn normally. And now none of them spawn normally. They all spawn in the same spot, so that leads me to believe it's something to do with our... line trace math, perhaps. What is this? I can't quite, of the hit in world space where it will not pan. Okay, maybe we'll just try location instead of the impact point. Okay, did not fix that. It made it worse, actually. So, what the hell? Not sure. Let's see. You need to set that trace impact as the spawn point, if not the capsule. I'm trying to match the location. Is it trying to match the location of the spawn pad? Is the spawn pad shrunken into the ground? That's a good point, actually. No, it should be just this, right? That doesn't have any collision on it, I guess, so... that's interesting. Oh, let me just think about that for a sec. Would that be true if it hit the spawn point and then it would find the default scene root of that and then snap it to that? What's the... Well, the default scene root here is literally right in the middle there, so... That wouldn't make sense. Visibility persistent, location... Turn visibility of the capsule on. In these settings? Let's do that. See what happens. Nothing! Okay, that's annoying. Alright. Yeah, I don't think that would have an issue, anyway, because we're drawing a line trace, and then this line trace is going to be looking for things to collide with, so that shouldn't matter, in terms of that, so... This is puzzling. I don't know why it's doing this. Unreal. Stop it. Unreal beats me. It makes sense only if it was affecting the height. Yes, if that's clipping, the impact point needs to be used on the spawn actor. The problem with that is these enemies are not spawned in, so... Ah, okay, no, it's coming to me here. Okay, yeah, the get actor of location, whoever mentioned that before, get actor, cool now, sorry, I now realize what you meant to say. Get actor location, or, yes, that's right. So, yeah, he suggested this because, when this event begin play is triggered, we will have our transform already set by the spawn actor of class node. So this we can just break it right here to keep it clean. The impact point we're going to drag out of here, break vector, So we want to split this as well, and then we'll plug this. We want the X and Y to be the same, obviously, and then the Z will be that. Let's see. But the Z has been the issue the entire time, so let's see. So that still didn't work. What the F is going on here? Maybe the spawn manager. Try to adjust, but always spawn. I wonder if this is causing some issues. Yes, I think it is. Where's the location? This, okay, no, this actually works though, because this puts them in the air. Like if we disable this line trace, like we just get rid of this and spawn them in, they spawn in the air like they're supposed to, right? So what is you know what? I might have just figured it out. The capsule component is the root, meaning, so if we go to the viewport, I'm pretty positive the half height of this, like the direct middle of this capsule component, is the root. So it's going to snap that to the floor, possibly? That kind of makes sense. So this is going to be some oddity math, but impact point, so this plus, we'll get the capsule component, we'll get the half height. And put that in. Let's see what this does. I win! I win! So, alright, that was the issue here. Okay, well good. I'm feeling good about that. Mark, how to charge a cellular communication device. Yes, nice. Trying to get to unhide the capsule for. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. All of your enemies set to be in the capsule and not Unreal's default. Well, I'm reading this. I'm like 30 seconds ahead of you guys, so I'm probably seeing it now that I solved it. So, thinking about Walmart. So, thinking about Walmart. All right, Walmart. What a company, eh? Anyways, okay. So we got that weird bug all fixed up here. So. Now let's get back to what we were actually doing, which was we spawned our peoples in. That works. That's great. Now we need to tell it try to adjust but always spawn. Did we not include like a boss enemy here? I thought we did. Come on. This we did. Why did it only spawn 2 then? Now this is the next puzzle to figure out. Let's just do it again. Let's just see what happens. Because it should be spawning 3. Okay, that spawned 3. That spawned 1. Just curious. Let's see if there's any under the map. There is. Look at that. So that's bizarro. That shouldn't be happening. What if we... Let's have a look at this here. So when we spawn it in, what are these spawn points again? To get the world transform for the pad, perhaps instead of the default scene route, let's just do the pad itself. Compile, and then because the pad's pretty flat. What in the F happened there? Oh my god. Oh, it's because the pads. Oh, I see. We're gonna disconnect scale and we're just gonna do one and one because I changed the scale of the pad because it was pretty small. So we'll do that. Now they're not spawning at all. Okay, they're still spawning. We're getting the same issue. It's probably worse, to be honest. Maybe we just need to make the Z value bigger. Oh, it's, you know what it is? The bounding box. That probably is the one downside for this, then. Unless we make the Z... No, even if we make the Z less. How about let's split the difference on this, and let's add a box collision, and once again we'll just copy it from was it the enemy or the enemy trigger? Sorry, let's copy this because it's gonna be the same thing. Copy. I didn't realize it was that simple. Set box extent, and we want our box, and we want to make this a variable that's instance editable. And boom. Okay, so now I hit compile, so we should see. Oh, right, because I have it set at 0 as default. Inbox extent, we'll do 250 by 250 by 250, sure. And then the viewport, we need to move this up so that it's not below the floor. That's what we're going to do. That's what's going to make this work super good. Alright, and then we're going to get... not the pad. We want to get the box. And can you get bounding... get bounds? Not message. Get component bounds. And the origin... or sorry, is it the origin or the box extent? The origin will be the middle. Oh, now we'll get random box and random. What was it called again? You told me earlier, and I totally forgot what it was. Oh, get box found. Random point and bounding box. There we go. Okay, so now we'll get this. I don't know what this sphere is here for, but sure. Anyways, and then the box, get world transform. Sure, we'll do that, because we're only getting the rotation out of there anyway. Yes. Okay, cool. So this should work now. I'm just going to test it out, and then I'll look at the comments here. Okay, and then we keep trying. So it should do 3 each time, which it is. Those ones didn't work because the line trace obviously didn't hit anything, right? So, yeah, this is obviously going to depend on how big your monsters are. So, we're going to make this smaller. Make this like 150. Sorry, no, it has to be at least 200 because our mannequins are 180. What do you call them? 180 Unreal Engine units tall. So, we'll select our box. You can move this in the world too, just to fit your thing here. Perfect. Okay, so that'll work. Let's look at some comments here. Need to raise our bounding box lower than the Z value. From the location origin plus add 50 to the Z, make the bounding box with the values you want, a Z of like 5. Yes. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. Yeah, the Z value of that box has to be at least 180 because that's how tall your people are. But if you do 180, then it's not going to give you a chance to what's it called? It's not going to give you a chance to lost my train of thought here. For them to like get put up in the world and then use that line trace to find the actual ground. Okay. Need to take a quick break here. I will be right back, but don't go anywhere, and I'll be back in about 2-3 minutes. All right. All right. Things over here. All right. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. All right, everybody, sorry about that. Move that light a bit closer. All right, so let's keep going here. Apologies for that. So what are we doing here? Spawn manager. We got that all to work. We got the bounding box over this thing here, so now our enemies actually spawn properly in the, except that guy randomly. I thought I made it much smaller. Oh yeah, I guess we can set it dynamically here. For this box, we gotta set it here or else it won't work. Or this here. There we go. So let's make this... This is the half height, I guess, right? So we'll make it 100. And now we gotta select the box and move this down to the floor. There we go. Okay, now it should work just fine. There we go. Everybody's spawning it. Perfect. Alright, okay, well, that works now. Our enemies spawn. Now we gotta work on the actual budget thing here, so... okay, so let's see here. Perfect. Cena, hello. You have an unrelated question. How do you create a dash when a character hits a wall or another object in the dash bounce off using a reflection vector? You'll need to get the velocity of that, and then just trying to think. Would you add? Yeah, so you would, when you hit a wall, you need to, there'd be some event that fires. I'm just trying to think what specific event that is. I know what it would be in a blueprint, right? It would be the on-event hit. But I don't know if that would, you'd want to make every single wall a blueprint, right? So, I wonder if in the this is a totally unrelated thing to this, but I'm wondering in the movement component for your player if there's something in there that has like a hit or a stop, abrupt stop or something like that event. You'd have to look at the events inside your movement component, but yeah, then you would have to get your velocity, and then you'd have to add force, and then minus the -1 to, or sorry, times your velocity by -1, and then it would shoot your character backwards by adding force. That's how I would do it. Okay, how do I do print? How do I do blueprint myself? Some friends sob. Stop sobbing, real time, F-man. So, anyways, unrelated question. Yeah, so I answered that. All right, let's continue on here. So, we have this while loop, which will continually execute out of the loop body until we have told it a condition to fail, which in this case is our enemy budget being 0. Okay. What do we got here? So, once we spawn the enemy in, we're going to get the enemy cost and minus it from the enemy budget. So, the enemy budget we need to set, right. Dominic, we decided to set this as a spawn rate. So we'll call this spawn rate elites, and then, whoops, spawn rate specialists. Does anyone know of any plugin anywhere that can get rid of that tooltip over top of what I'm typing over? Like, it is the most annoying thing in this engine, for sure. Pawn rate special. Pawn rate special, everybody. Spawn rate. Oh, it does say spawn rate. Okay, I see. Yeah, specialist. There we go. And then this one was spawn rate elite. Or, sorry, it's grunt. There you go. Perfect. Okay, that's done. So before we do all this, we need to figure out how many enemies we need to spawn, I think is what we need to do. Like, we need to do a bunch of mathematics. I'm just wondering, depending on how many enemies you have in here, this is going to cast every single time. I'm wondering if we just need to do that once. You know what? Let's do... Oh, no, that won't work because we actually do need that because we need to spawn... No, we don't need that. Or do we? I'm just trying to think of how to do this here. Because obviously we need to load. You're telling it what enemies you want here, in this particular like level or whatever, or this spawn point. Then we have to load all those into memory. We need to cast to it because this is a U object. And then we use this U object for the spawn actor. Maybe before this for each loop is when we do the... Or actually off of event begin play. That might actually be better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do off of event begin play. So we need to get the budget, enemy budget. And this is probably the benefit of having these here. I'm not totally familiar how much you can do with soft references before you have to load them. It's pretty tough. You're doing spawn actor from class, aren't you? So you need... Yeah, right, that's right. So soft reference here, I'm just trying to think. I'm just using this to reference stuff because I'm actually not sure how much stuff you can get out of here without loading it into memory here. Because, yeah, obviously the whole idea is to not load it into memory until you need it, right? So, soft class, resolve. Yeah, we don't want to resolve. You can pass a soft reference into the spawn actor and it will convert. Really? Okay. So, but you need the async still, don't you? And then you need a cast. Oh no, I guess you wouldn't need a cast if it just goes straight into it. Let's just try this out. Convert. Right, and then that would load it. Okay. Sent me a screenshot. Thanks, appreciate that. Let's have a look here. New variable, I see. But, yeah, so you don't need the async if you just do that. Okay. That's interesting. Starting underground. Yeah. He was just commenting that it was annoying that we had to spend a lot of time on things spawning into the ground, which I agree with. Still need the async. Okay, you still need the async, but that loads it into memory anyway, so this would make this irrelevant, wouldn't it? Right? So... you can make Cryptex Vinci puzzle lock. Oh, Cryptex Da Vinci. Oh, I want to see for a vault safe instead of numbers. Ooh, that would be really hard to make, actually, Phoenix Gold. To make a Da Vinci puzzle lock. That would actually be interesting to make. I'll add that to the list, because that's an interesting... okay, it doesn't load, it just converts. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, so this would go later then. This would go down here. So it, like, soft spawns it, I guess? if that's what we're looking for here. So, yeah, so then we come down here, and, like, if I'm doing this wrong, let me know, because, I mean, I've never done it like this before, so... You don't need the cast. I guess you wouldn't, hey? Yeah, you wouldn't need the cast after that, for sure. I'm confused now. Where would the async go? Oh yeah, Mark passed the torch to #1 top fan to... Anyways, okay, so... Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't need this. This converts... Actor reference... Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we need. I'm so confused. Async, get rid of the cast and then it spawns. I'm so confused because like normally, like obviously we want this loads it into memory. The soft reference, like you're saying, if I do it this way, it's like softly spawns it. But now I have an object reference, so that technically that would still spawn it. It would still load it, right? doesn't convert it automatically loading it into memory, or is the problem because it's not loading asynchronously? The problem I have is we need to calculate, we need a reference to all of these enemies that are not loaded into memory, right? So that we can get our enemy budget, and then we can determine the spawn, we have the spawn rates for all the elites, specialists, and the grunts, and then we need to figure out how much each enemy is, so that we can determine how many enemies we can spawn, right? So, second screenshot incoming. Okay, we'll have a look here. So yeah, I'll wait for that. Yeah, so that's the issue we're trying to solve right now, because this is definitely what you want to do. You want to not have a hard reference on all of your spawn managers right away. So, yeah, we'll figure all this out together here. I'm just waiting for the thing from King Boars here. So, doesn't converting it. Yeah, that's BCG. That's kind of what I'm thinking, that this loads it into memory, because this is a object reference, right? So, if I compile this, will this give me an error? No, it won't. Okay. Yeah, because that resolves... Yeah, that's right. That's right. Alright. Nothing yet. Anyways, we'll keep going here. We'll try to figure this out here. But, so on the back end of this, well, I'll wait for that to come in, we're going to take the enemy cost, we're going to minus from the budget, and then we're going to set the budget. Set budget, where are we here? Enemy budget. We're going to set that as this. Okay? And then, should we clamp? No. Yeah, we don't need to clamp, because at some point we need to check if we can spawn the next enemy. If we have enough budget left to spawn the next enemy, right? So, yeah, we do need this while loop. But I wonder if that should be out of... No, it can't be. We don't need this while loop. I just realized. Oh, my brain is just like, it's just... I can't wrap my head around this right now. This exists to load all of the enemies that we want to use in this spawn point into memory. That's the point of this. Maybe this is... Let's rename this event to, like, load enemies or something. Yeah, okay, so he sent it, he says. Let's have a look here. Well, so the cast isn't bad though, right? So, but yeah, it's doing it multiple times, I think, is... If you have a lot of enemies, that's definitely bad. So, sorry, I'm just looking at... So what he's suggesting here is that we have the loadout... We have this, and, like, we have literally this, right? To skip the cast. The cast in this case, like, if you were to cast... If it was just a single, not an array, just a single one, the cast is totally fine, because you're just doing it once, but we'd be doing it for however many enemies we have, right? So, I mean, we only have 3, so it's probably not that big of a deal, you know, performance-wise, but... yeah. We'll try it like this. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, so we're going to load the enemies. You know what? Maybe we make this... I just got an idea, actually. Why don't, instead of... Let's make another array out of this. Promote to variable. And this will be the... enemies to spawn, I guess. Enemies to spawn. And let's make this an array. And let's change the variable type. Okay, we will grab this. We will add. Yeah, we'll just add. We'll do this. Okay, and then... wait, oh yeah, we gotta do this. There we go. Okay, so we did that. Let's get rid of this. Let's break this. And... let's bring it down here. So we will load the enemies by loading them all into memory, adding them to this specific thing. After this, we should probably do another thing, which is... we'll move this down here because that'll be the last thing, right? And we can break this. Then we're going to have to determine how many enemies we can actually spawn. So, from completed, we'll get the enemies to spawn. We will get a... we need to convert this to an object reference now. Which the spawn actor generally does, right? Because it gives you the object thing you need right here. Why is my for each loop thing not working today? That's really weird. Okay, anyways. We want to get all these enemies, and we want to check the budget. And then we got to get a random... maybe this is where the while loop will come in. Yeah, let's maybe do... this is so hard, dude. Sorry, let me look at my chats. You guys might be offering some helpful solutions here. You shouldn't need the cast if you're not setting any class-based data. You're just loading the class into memory, which is... yeah, okay, fair enough. I guess this needs to go into here, hey? That's... oh, okay, yeah, you were just commenting on the line I missed. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. So yeah, at this point, this is where we can grab all the data for how much each enemy costs, and then we can do, we can check the budget to see if we can afford it, essentially. So maybe this, instead of this for each, let's get random, or sorry, I guess it's just random, right? Random array item. This, you would need a cast for this. Or actually, we should be resolve, not as resolve, sorry, to... we shouldn't need a cast, actually. Unreal Adventures Playground, welcome. We are making a spawn manager with a budget. So we've spawned our enemies already, but we're trying to figure out how to get this working with a budget. So we can set how many enemy... basically, you know, each enemy's worth a certain amount of the budget, and then we're going to deplete that budget to 0 and spawn in the amount of enemies we want here. So, okay, so random... why can't I think right now? Get the class... oh, actually, that'll work. Get class defaults. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so... get enemy cost. Yes, that's what we want. I'm trying now. How do these come into play now? The spawn rates. This needs another variable almost, eh? The A Canada. The get class defaults, yeah, this is how you can get all of your class defaults that are in your parent, so you don't have to reference any of the children. So, and then since this is going to be a specific enemy, then we can grab this, right? So, this node doesn't work now if we're going to implement these, right? Because we want to... can you break array? Is that a thing you can do? No, you can't. I was thinking, like, you know how you can make an array and then plug stuff in? Like, what if you could break an array and then have all the individual pins? That'd be cool. Tough challenge, everybody. It's a tough challenge. Random. That gives the integer, which doesn't matter in this case. Maybe we do need a for each. Oh, no, we don't. That's tricky here. How to make the spawn rates matter. Because this is all the enemies. So, you know, again, if you're just joining or whatever, just to reiterate here, here's we're setting what enemies we want in the spawn pad, right? Now we're loading all of those into memory. We're adding them to this array when we hit this, right? Then we want to find out. We need to find out the spawn rates for everybody, and then randomly get one from here. Let's maybe make a function instead of getting this random node. Or using just this random node, I should say. So let's collapse to function. And we'll call this function find spawn rates. Okay, let's open that up. Let's figure this out here. Okay, so the enemies to spawn. This is so tough. I'm just so... Yeah, we need the out item for sure. Let's just... I mean, this is one reason I do like blueprints for sure. Is because we can put stuff out here and just kind of figure it out visually, right? So if I have this... God, I just can't... Oh, my brain cannot comprehend this. They needed a... what is this here? If this is a speed rate of spawn thing, that's different. Can I use a delay or do once the resets the cool... BCG says, I'm not sure how to do this right. The right way, but you could check the size map and then add an integer to reflect that value. Check if the sum of all integers to a reference of the budget. No, because this is just the enemies that we want to spawn into the map. So, but now we need to find how often we should spawn these. So maybe this random one isn't what we want. You know what would be interesting? In the animation graph, it'd be interesting to see how that works, because they have a random play random animation or something like that node, and you plug that in, and then you can set the amount of animations you want and like the chances of it playing. I wonder if let me just maybe browse to that and see if we can find something that is in blueprints that we can reference. I think it's in third person, isn't it? Third person blueprints. Where the hell are you? Mannequin. I'll just open the third person character and just do this. This. Yeah. Okay, so in here... sorry, fall loop, jump to falling it. Sure, we'll go locomotion. This looks all different. This looks all different. Anim graph. Yeah, okay, so you go in here, for example, and you can get random... what is it? Random, it's... I can't remember. Random, it's one of these... Or do you have to... You have to drag out an animation, and then random... How did that work? I can't remember. I have to go back and watch one of my own shorts. I tried doing C++, so I was able to learn it. I had to, if I had to actually go and use it instead of blueprints, I just pick a different hobby. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, to be honest. No, that's not what we want. Oh, what was it? I don't know. It's like random something something rather. Random sequence player. That's what it is. Okay, is there a blueprint equivalent to this? Because yeah, you put in entries here, and then you can tell it what enemy it is, chance to play, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it'd be really cool if there was a blueprint equivalent of that. So it's almost like you got to have an input, like a separate function that's like an input of whatever enemy you would have. Maybe that's how you do it. Spawn manager. So this doesn't exist at all. So we're gonna do another one here, which is the BP enemy class reference. Enemy class reference, and this will be enemy to spawn, and then we're gonna add a boolean here. Can spawn, we'll say. Okay, so from this enemy we are going to get class defaults, and we're going to that's just to get the enemy cost. Let's get a select node out of this. Sorry, pardon me, a switch node. Okay, so we'll do a switch node. So now we have the elites, the specialists, and the grunts. We'll do the grunts up here. So for here, we're going to get the... let's promote this to a local variable, because we're going to use it a couple times. Enemy cost. Sorry, I should probably rename that to local enemy cost. And then we will get this grunt. That doesn't really help us, does it? BCG. So I'm just trying to find a way to get the spawn, like to incorporate the spawn rates, and to also find how much each enemy costs, and then deduct that from our budget. In this case, the spawn rates probably won't do anything here. Yeah. I don't know how to incorporate the spawn rates, but this will find the enemy cost. So for grunt, local enemy cost. What are you wanting for the rates? Specific spacing, random. How many? Basically, we're trying to create a randomized thing where you give it a budget, and then now Unreal Engine's going to determine which enemies to spawn based on a spawn rate. So if you give it a budget of 50, and the elites are 5, specialists are 2, and the grunts are 1, like it's going to keep spawning enemies until it runs out of a budget, right? So. Obviously, the elites, you'd want to have a lower spawn rate than any of these other two. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to figure out here. You're always going to spawn once, so doing it after the spawn actor and checking the start should be fine. Yes, that's correct. I mean, we're going to need this function anyway, right? So, random sequencer, I think. Yeah, David, yeah, thanks. I should have read your comment earlier, David, but yeah, I found it, obviously. Of former fans, I actually like coding. Some BP stuff just feels like convoluted versus writing a few lines of code. I mean, yeah, there's... you know, there's a lot of like C++ versus Blueprint stuff. You should be using both, in all honesty. It's just so nice to be able to use blueprints in the engine and then test it right away. With C++, obviously you got to like write the code and then like rebuild your game and then wait for that to finish and then reopen the editor just to test your game. So it's a little annoying that way for C++, but yes, I do agree there's definitely some benefits of doing it. I've heard from people in my Discord that is it like for each loops or something in C++ are like much more time consuming than to do, like, because we just have to get like the node right for each loop and we're done. But if you open this up, right, this is like you got to do all this in C++ with like lines of code or something like that. I'm sure you can make your own macro for it in there, but that's just what I've heard. I'm not really sure. I've just started learning C++ myself, so okay. Real-time server spawn rate, just use a do runts that were reset once the timer has run out. A random float would give you a nice touch. Spawn rate. Use a do once. Try an array of spawns, get random, get cost, subtract from budget. Spawns. Yes, that's the other thing that we needed to do. We needed to confirm that we can actually spawn these dudes. So yeah, we don't need the spawn rate's not going to do us any good in here, but we are going to get the local enemy cost, and we're going to see if do we even need this now. We don't even need this now. So we're going to get the local enemy cost, and we're going to check and see if our budget get enemy budget. If this is less than or equal to, right? We don't need this branch either. We just do this. And the out item will be the same. Okay, so does the local enemy cost... Is it... Oh, sorry, I got the wrong node. Less than or equal to the enemy budget. Returns true if A is less than or equal to... Okay, good. Yeah, I always have to double check those in my brain because I always screw them up. So... okay, so find spawn rates. That's incorrect now. This is... can afford enemy. Okay, so we'll go back to our event graph. Get rid of this now. So can we afford the enemy? And what's the other thing? I lost my train of thought again. Enemy budget, enemy budget. We obviously need to minus that. So this would be before spawn actor. Let's get rid of this while loop. I don't think we need it. This would go here, but we need to add a branch, obviously, to make sure we can spawn it. Okay, so that'll be that. Enemy budget. Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. And then the spawn rate. So let's just actually... This should function on its own. Let's just test it out and make sure it works. So we'll get a random array item and plug that in right here. And, but we need oh, we do need a while loop. I'm dumb. We do need a while loop because we came out of here. While loop. And the condition is the enemy budget is not equal to 0. Okay, so let's test this out. Hit compile. And let's set a budget here of enemy budget of, we'll do 20. And the spawn rates don't do anything right now, so we won't worry about those. I'll hit save. I have a feeling I'll crash. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Okay, good. All right. Cool. So that spawned a bunch of people based on a budget. I mean, that was the system that was requested, I guess, in a sense, but like the most basic point of it. So you can see we have 2 elites in there, so that's 10, and then we have 4 specialists, that's 8, and then 2 regular Joe peoples. So yeah, obviously we would want the whatever it's called, some sort of you know, spawn rate thing, right? So maybe we make the spawn rates have something to do with the cost. That would actually work. The top line, yeah. To be honest, I didn't expect that to work either. To be to be fair. So, anyways, what do we got here? Those who don't know, yeah. Floating range would be good. For which? Sorry. For whoops, not in there. Get rid of these macros. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Oh, I thought it would need to go on completed. Sorry, just trying to completed. What, you didn't think this would work? Probably just swap my name in a few places for consistency. Yeah. For each node is kind of one line code really, except the function. Oh, I see. Okay, for fans, you're talking about C++ in general. For each is one line of code really, except for the function inside the course. Okay, I'm currently making a MMO RTS kind of game, and I'm mixing C++ with blueprints. That's great. Yeah, again, I think it should be the default. Like, blueprints are really, really good for just getting a prototype out, and then like you can continue doing it in blueprints, and then look at where your bottlenecks are in the game, and then convert that to C++. You know, C++ obviously is better in terms of performance, but not by much. A lot of people think that it's a huge overhead. It's not. There was a talk in Unreal Fest 2022, I believe it was, where they showed you graphs and comparisons. The overhead is pretty negligible compared from blueprints compared to C++. C++ obviously is machine code, so it's really easy for the computer to read. Blueprints, a little bit more is going on. And apparently, like, all of these, like, individual lines add overhead as well. So the overhead wasn't much. I think the C++, it was like 1 nanosecond or something like that for it to execute the code. And then Blueprints was 3.5 nanoseconds. So it's literally, like, super negligible, right? So, but obviously, like, where it's starting to get choked up, that's where you want to add C++, right? So, the top line, yeah, for sure. I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, no, you'd want, because we're doing the for each, right? So this would load each one of these things in, add it to the thing. Yeah, no, that's right? I mean, I guess it just worked, right? So, anyways, spawn rate, that's all we got left to do, and then this system's done, so, let's figure that out. Yeah, I think maybe if we have the enemy cost... Random float and range is coming to my brain. Let's make a new function. We'll call it spawn rate. And... oh, geez, let's see. Event... enemy budget. Do we need this? So how do we have the spawn rate dictate the randomness? Like that's the trick here. I'm just gonna look through the array stuff and see if there's anything in here that might. Oh, random array from stream. Make stream. Make random stream, initial seed. Aha! Okay. But how does that work? So instead of making, what does this do? So yeah, like, if I run into problems, sometimes I just, like, look for stuff in here to see if I can find something. Random stream from location. Interesting. Ooh. I just don't know how to convert basically this seed. Makes a random based number generator. I want to know how this works. So maybe let's do a print string on something. Let's drag an enemy into the world here. Or we'll delete this. It's just a static mesh or skeleton mesh or whatever. Enemies. We'll drag... Let's drag enemy in. Just the base parent class here. Enemy... okay, this... we're gonna get some errors, I just realized. Mesh, because there's no mesh, so we're gonna get an access non-error. That's fine, whatever. We'll deal with that. I want to get a print string. What the frick was that? Print string. Then I want to get the... get rent... Oh, I need an array. Shit, I guess we'll do this inside the spawn manager somewhere. Yeah, because it's in the world too. So we'll go off event, begin play. And we'll do this. Random array. No, we wanted the random and stream, right? Random array from stream. We'll make a stream. Make random stream. Let's see. In theory, what's still missing is the spawn manager to find all the spawn locations in the dungeon to randomly spawn enemies there. Yes. That you would just have to get all actors of class, so it would get all the spawn pads in your level. And then you'd have to, out of that array, I don't think that'll take that long. I could probably show you how to do that here after we figure out what this random stream does. Not sure how they play the percentage of the spawn off the top of my head. Seems like you've used character factor to make a percentage. The higher the value, the bigger the denominator, actually making it a smaller percentage. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know how this seed works to give me an index. Because we could just use the get node, right? And get an index. Or get the out item, sure, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this depends on what it is, right? God, this is not straightforward, eh? Yeah, anyways, wish we didn't spend as much time on the frickin', enemies going into the ground, and we could spend more time on this, but, do you know how to multicast a game effect I can use on my client? I can't use it on my client for some reason. I don't know too much about replication, I just know you gotta make, like, 2 different events, and then on the events up here you go to replicates, doing all that kind of stuff. You do run on server first, and then you'd call the event for multicast, which runs to all the clients. That's all I know about replication, to be honest. Why don't you use get random from the array directly? Because we're trying to incorporate these random spawn rates, or these spawn rates for each individual enemy. Right, so if you wanted, like, it to be a boss battle, or sorry, like a mini boss battle, and you wanted, like, only elites to spawn, for example, then you would want to put 100% there and 0% for the rest, right? So that's why, mind you, I guess you can control that here. Just looking at some stuff here. Seems like you're using a character... Yeah, I read that one already. This is a tough one, everybody. Anim BP has a random sequence player with percentages. Yeah, right? That's what I said earlier. I had the animation blueprint open because they had that random one there. So yeah, it would be perfect. That's what I was hoping, if I pull this out, if there's like a random something rather. Because we got random array from stream, item from stream, and then random array, and that's kind of it. If we do a for each loop, and we can shuffle from stream. That's not what we want. Do you have to go get a copy? Find item. You know what, actually? There was... I wonder if we can... I'm just going to type, like, random integer. Random integer from stream. I wonder if that would... In range... I don't know if that would work either. Random... we're using integers, so random integer returns a uniformly distributed random number between 1 and max of -0. Or -1, sorry. You need to call server RPC into the multicast RPC. Yeah, that's right. I wonder, yeah, if we can get... So the spawn rates here... Like, yeah, like, what's his... who said it here? It was... I totally lost the thing. Assembled... Yeah, of former fame, literally, it's... What's in the animation thing, random sequence players, like, exactly what I need, but in this. I just wish it was, you know, you can look at it in Blueprint so you can kind of replicate it, right? So I wonder how they did that. Random integer in range. What, maybe we do this. So, I mean, we can just manually do it. It'll just be messy, but I mean, we can manually do it, right? So let's do it over here with some room. Then you can plug these in. Elites, specialist, and grunts. And can I make an array from these? And then, like, we don't have it. There's no choose. No, there's... So, grunts... We should clamp these. Yeah, we should clamp these so that they're... yeah, sorry, I'm not talking much because I'm just, like, my brain's trying to think how to make this work. Let's clamp this from 1 and 0. Between 1 and 0. I feel like there's a different way to do this, but... for all 3 of these. Yeah, I feel like there's a node that does this, but I can't think of it right now. I'm sure someone will mention it. Minimum 1, max, yeah. So... Random, yes, this should work. Okay, so the idea behind this, we're going to set the spawn rates between 0 and 1. Obviously, 1 is 100% and 0, 0. So, you know, elites will be like 0.2 or 0.1 or something like that. Specialists will be like 0.4. Grunts will be 0.6 or 0.7 or something like that. Then we're going to get a random integer between those ranges, right? So, oh, this should be... value, clamp. Yeah, we're looking for it. Yeah, I swear there's a node for this. Isn't there a weighted something that you can use? Maybe, yeah. Let's see. Weighted. Whoops. Smoothing random bool with weight. Let's see. State machine casting. There's nothing here specifically for weighting. Get current weight. That's animation. Yeah, there's stuff in animation for this kind of stuff, but not for this, hey. I'm Tires from Discord, but didn't change my name on YouTube just to have the same name. Oh, that's no worries. That's 1.1. I don't get it. 5.7 AI suggests the random bool with weight as a possibility. Okay. Random bool with weight. And you know what? I just realized these can't be integers. They have to be floats. So, whoops. Gotta change all these to floats. Because we're gonna do decimals, obviously. I've just been using integers so much in my projects. Floats. The enemy budget actually doesn't need to be a float. Or actually, it can't be a float because the other thing is a float. Okay, anyways, change that all back. Hopefully Unreal doesn't crash on me. Might as well save everything just to be safe. Okay, anyways, so those are the spawn rates. So what is it? Get a random chance with a specified weight. Range of weight is 0 to 1. Weight 0.6 return true. 60% of the time. Okay. That's actually pretty nice. I can do a select node for this, can't I? Oh, I should spell select right, maybe. Select. No, maybe not. So let's do this. I actually like this idea, but it turns it into a bool. So okay, so this runs an RNG thing, and then if it's within the parameters of this, then it's true. Then maybe we do this. And then we get a random from this. But then that doesn't help our cause, does it? Because we need a way to tell it to spawn that specific enemy. So maybe we don't do this then. We do this is a function, so we'll cut this. So we already have one started here. So spawn rate. Bonus points for anyone who understands that reference. Oh. I don't get it myself. Anyways, okay, so we got to figure this out here. So we got the spawn. We figured out how to get a random number now, so that's great. And now we need to figure out how to convert that into what we need to spawn. You know what? Actually, let's do an input of our BP enemy. Sorry, I guess that's not where I need to type it. Enemy type, we'll call it. Or enemy class, sorry. We'll call it what it actually is. And then we need to get the BP enemy class reference. Okay, so that's done, and then we need to get class defaults. So we can get the enemy rank, then we'll get a select node, or switch node, pardon me. Okay, so we're coming in. Which one are we spawning? This is where it's going to get interesting. This needs to happen before this. I wonder how... I just had a really interesting idea in my brain, but I don't know how performant it would be, but we'll see, I guess. So, let's say we're spawning a grunt. So we'll come up here, we're spawning a grunt, we're going to get a branch out of this, and we're going to check, hey, you know, with the spawn rate, can we spawn this grunt? And then we're going to return that we can or not. And, sorry, yeah, we'll just say enemy class again, just to pass that data back. Okay, I can't, okay, so out enemy class. And then we'll add a boolean called bool. Dumb. Can spawn is what it should be called. Okay, so then we will, well, again, we actually don't need this branch. We just plug this right in. And then the out enemy will be this, and then the grunt will be here. So we're going to check, hey, can we spawn this grunt? And we're going to do that again 2 more times. I hit save instead of Control-D, but I mean, hey, no one's going to complain about that. Okay, so Specialist will plug in, Elite will plug in, and we'll plug this in, and we'll plug this in, and then we'll plug these in here. Okay, so this should work. So we'll hit compile, we'll go back to the event graph. Now we're checking down here, yeah, this while loop. We're going to check our spawn rate. Okay, and we're going to disconnect this, and we're going to get rid of this, whatever the hell this is, and this. And then we're going to drag this back and plug it in here. So we're getting a random enemy, and we're checking if we can spawn this enemy based on the spawn rate that we've given it. Okay, and then plug this in here. If we can spawn it, we're going to ask ourselves, can we afford the enemy? And then, if we can, we're going to spawn that enemy in, and then we're going to reduce the budget down. Okay, that should work. Let's see here. Happy said he was dedicating a level to us in his game. The level's called Spoiled Milk. Yeah, we are a bunch of spoiled milk, aren't we? That's funny. What are the bools for? Happy everything guy, welcome to the stream. Yeah, bools are for to make sure that we can spawn our enemies in, basically. So let's see if this works. We set sorry, I didn't find out what the budget was. Oh yeah, 20, okay. So let's hit play, we'll do this. Game, infinite loop detected, okay. So, let's see what I can do to make this fail, so that this while loop doesn't stop, or doesn't, So yeah, this is doing a lot of work, which is exactly what I thought it was gonna do. Maybe we can combine these. Let's... Yeah, because this is pretty basic. So yeah, let's... we'll just copy this and go back to the spawn rate thing here. And so yeah, we'll just check these at the same time, and then we're saving a bunch of work, I think. So paste. So we'll delete this. The enemy cost. The sketty here. Yeah, we'll make this a local. Promote to local. Local cost. Okay, we'll put that here. Local cost. And then this will be an AND node. Okay, and then we'll just do this the same, copy, and paste this 2 more times. Whoops, I didn't want to mess it up like that. Alright, there. So that should do less work. Oh, you know what the infinite loop was from? Is because we didn't set spawn rates. That's what it was. Spawn rates for the elites, we'll put 0.2. Specialist will be... yeah, 0.4 and then 0.6 for these guys. That's why we had the infinite loop. That makes sense. Yes, everything like you said, make sure you join the Discord. Lots of great people on there. Oh, look at that. There's a little bit of a lull, which in a sense is like normal because spawning is a pretty heavy thing to do in Unreal Engine. So yeah, when you're spawning a lot of enemies, especially like within a budget. So notice how this didn't spawn a single elite. So that, you know, use that as you will. Oh yeah, we gotta also... Interesting. So we didn't actually disable this trigger box, but it's on its own failing because the budget's already 0, right? So it's trying to spawn these guys in, but it's seeing, oh, the budget's 0, so it doesn't even bother running the while loop. But as a failsafe, you should put in something in here to disable. So like on a completed here, we can. You can either destroy it if you're not going to use it again, or yeah, let's do that. We'll just destroy actor. Okay. All right, so that's the basic system. Just a little bit extra one we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of these because our guy here. Stand by. My name. The name of my guy here is escaping me. I can't remember. Dominic. That's right. AKA Tyrus from the Discord. So. Yeah, we're going to make a couple of different spawn points, and we're going to change this now to all actors of class. We're going to get all of these actors, and then we're going to divide up the budget between the 3 of them. Right? Yeah, so yeah, let's do it like this. So yeah, we're in our trigger box, in our event graph, on the on component begin overlap. So instead of load enemies right away, we are going to do this, but we are going to get all actors of class. This only works, by the way, if it's like a level-based thing. It won't work if it's like an open world, because that'll fucking break your game. Holy shit. So yeah, get all actors of class, and it's going to be the BP trigger. What do we call this thing? Sorry, not that. The spawn manager. Okay, we're gonna get a 4 each. The F hotkey is not working for me today. That's super strange. Anyways, we are going to the budget has to almost be a local variable, or we have to almost create one. I wonder if that would be. I don't normally use the level blueprint because it's kind of like a little broken, but whoops, not make a new level, sorry. But maybe in this particular instance it might be beneficial. So we're going to open the level blueprint and make a variable called level enemy budget. Yeah, the level blueprint generally is not great just because it uses everything has a reference to it, right? So if you're starting to put stuff in here that's like referencing each other, now everything's going to be referencing that, right? So like something like this, like an integer is probably fine because obviously these can't create hard references, the integers, right? So we will make this instance editable and exposed on spawn here so that we can set it in our game. I wonder if we can do this in here. No, we can't, because that'll create references to everything. So, how do we get this? Can I make this? Well, we'll see here. Anyways, we need to get the level blueprint. I don't know how you do that, to be honest, because like I said, I haven't used this that much. Let's see here. I'm just looking at some. Gameforge left by Gameforge. Sorry, that was super delayed. Oh, I see, because the rates add up to 1.2. No, the rates don't. They don't actually, because in here, this is just the spawn rate for this, and it's going to get a number between 0 and 1, and if it falls under this number, then it's going to return true. So these don't add up into anything. This is just running an RNG thing. But anyway, so now we're trying to get a reference to their level blueprint. Get... Dang, hey. How do we get access to that? How do we get access to this? It's a level script actor. Get level, and then get what's it called? What do we call it? Level... No. So you probably got to cast at this point. Cast to level instance interface. Hey, hey, hey. That probably won't get what we want. Get loaded level. I mean, that seems like redundant, to be honest. Gets level... No, okay. Oh, anybody in chat know how to get a reference to your level blueprint? Because I don't use it, generally speaking. Spawn event timer, make sure you don't spawn more than one in a frame. It helps a ton with performance. Yes. That would help with performance. Yeah, yeah, I set a timer by event. Or by event. That's actually a way better way to do it on Everything Guy, to be honest. So, instead of doing it with a while loop, you would do it with a... Well, this would be just a straight branch down here. That's what this would be. Oh, sorry, yeah, branch, and then... So yeah, I actually really like what Everything I just suggested. That's actually a really good idea. So set event on timer. Sorry, event by timer. Is that how you say it? Events timer. Can I spell today? Set timer by event. That's what we want. And let's see here. So we'll do this. The time, I think, I don't know, this can be like, max 1 per frame. How long to wait before the execution and delegate seconds? Setting timer to 0 or clear if set. So, yeah, let's do like 0.0, like 5, but we'll do max 1 per frame. We'll set to looping, and then we'll create an event here. Custom event, and we'll call spawn enemies. Enemies. There we go. All right, spawn rates, and then we will promote this to a variable. We'll call it handle. And down here, if this enemy budget is not equal to 0 and that's false, then we are going to get our handle and we're going to clear and invalidate timer by handle, and then destroy actor. Or sorry, not destroy actor. I was thinking of the other thing there. So there, then we'll stop that timer so we won't spawn anymore, and that'll be great. So let's hit compile. That's a great. That's actually a great workaround. Everything, guys. Thanks for that suggestion. Didn't work though. So what happened? Something happened. Let's debug this right meow. So it did. Oh, did I destroy? No, it's still here. What's going on with is this trigger? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Derp. So we were working on something there. So, I mean, yeah, that definitely helps with the performance, because before there was a big, like, lag. So this works if, obviously, you don't see your enemies. Which, ideally, you wouldn't see them spawn in anyway. You'd have them in some sort of, like, sub-area or something like that, and then they'd come out, right? So, that's actually really great, so that's a good suggestion. Alright, anyways, the last thing we're doing here before we do a little question period here is... let's see here. We are figuring out how to randomly assign a budget to 3 different level things with our public thing we have in our level blueprint. I just don't know how to access that information. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna just say disable this for now. Random. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The level blueprint can be accessed by other actors, though. It can also use interfaces. That's what we're doing, 100%. So let's make an interface, content. We'll just make a new folder called interfaces, faces, great, and let's call this interface blueprint interface, BPI underscore level blueprint. Okay, this is going to have an output only of an integer, which is our level budget. Okay, this is how we should be doing interfaces, by the way, is using all of these types of variables and not specifically. You can, and you will need to, but to avoid it when you can, using hard references in here for stuff, right? Because anything that has implemented this interface, even if you're not using all of the functions, if they have an output of a hard reference, then that will then reference back to every blueprint referencing this, right? So that's not great for memory management. Anyways, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to go to our level blueprint, which is right here. We are going to implement this interface that we just made, BPI level blueprints. I called it new function, so funny. Get level enemy, holy crap, level budget. There it is, compile, and where was I working? I was working in here. We're gonna open this up, and we're literally gonna plug this in, and we're done. Okay. Now we need to go into our enemy trigger, and we need to first, you can do this off of a begin play if you want inside your spawn manager, or you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We'll leave this the exact same, but except on component begin overlap, we're going to get all actors of class, and it'll be the spawn manager. And then all you're going to do is just get a for each and plug this in here and plug this in here. Spawn pad, yes, this would get deleted. Yeah, because we're getting all, yeah. So that's will work there. And the spawn manager on the begin play, this is where we're going to get the call to the interface. Get level, I suspect is what we need. Return the U level of this actor is a part of. Okay, yeah, so that, and then we're going to get enemy blueprint budget. Then we're going to get all actors of class. Hang on. No, we don't need to get all actors of class, because this is happening on every single one, so never mind. Then we're going to... Shit, we need a way to divide it up evenly. Would I consider making a side-scroller type? I mean, I'm not too terribly fond of those myself. I mean, I played the crap out of them as a kid and stuff, but... maybe like as just a fun project or something. Yeah, we could probably do one. Where can I request a system? You can comment in the chat there below, and we will go back and we will look at the chat and we will write down the systems people are requesting, and then there will be a poll at the beginning of each stream that when I do this, and you guys can vote which ones I want to make. Okay. Anyways, enemy level budget. So yeah, that's the value that we need, but we need to divide it up against all of the things. Maybe we do that in the level blueprint. Nah, shit. I don't want to create a hard reference in the level blueprint because that's so dumb. So maybe in the level blueprint. Shit. Spawn manager. Where did I already get all actors of class? Here. So maybe we do it here then. So before the for each, we're going to get the length. We are going to get a random integer. No, sorry, my brain was totally malfunctioning there. Yes, and then we want to get the get level, and we want to get the get, what is this called? Enemy, yeah, that is what we want. Okay, and then we want to, I don't know if we want to divide it up evenly, or if we want to just, like, grab a random amount out of here, and then, so, enemy trigger. Let's make a function then, because I don't want to create a variable for this necessarily in here, so we'll do a function, and we'll just say sets number of enemies, or, yeah, enemies, for each pad, we'll call it. Okay, the input for this, let me just go back, I just gotta remember. So we'll get the level, budget, and the length. Yeah, so we'll have two in this function here, so number of pads, and that'll be integer, and then we'll have the number, or sorry, the level budget. Okay, promote this to a local variable, because this will change every time. Local budget, and number of pads. So this is interesting. So do we divide, for simplicity's sake, we could just divide the local budget by the number of pads, right? And then that's what each pad gets, the same amount of budget. That actually might be sufficient enough, just because there's enough randomness in place that it's not always going to be the exact same, right? So why don't we just do that? And then let's get a return here. Return? Oh, I have to do it out of here. Return. Plug that in. We'll just say number of, or sorry, budget per pad. Compile. Event graph. Sets number for each pad. Level budget and number of pads. Okay. So then we will, before we load enemies, we have to set the set level, or sorry, set enemy budget. Okay. Now we need to set the the default for this, which we should be able to do in our world settings somewhere. This is, can't remember where the default is for this. I mean, we can just literally set it in here. I don't want to make it super complicated. We'll just say 200, and let's see how many enemies spawn in here. Okay, so let's test it out. Nothing happened. Did I not plug something in? Let's see. Enemy trigger. That's plugged in. Let's just check and see if this runs, because this is it ran all the way through, so it should be spawning peoples. Hit F8. Let's see if there's like spawning under the map or something random. Oh, somebody spawned over there. Where are y'all spawning? Okay, so this did work in terms of like it ran all the way through. Let's look at the actual spawn manager and see what happens here. Okay, this can go away. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need the event begin play. We can get rid of that too. This worked last time when we get rid of that destroy actor too. This worked last time when we did it, so okay, let's just try it out and see what happens here. Just want to watch that go through. Huh. Oh, I didn't set spawn rates for these. That's one of the problems. You know what? By default, let's just where's the spawn manager here? Let's by default just set these so they're not 0. Elites will just say 0.2. I don't know. Yeah, we want to keep those instance editable, don't we? 0.6. Whoops, 0.6. Okay, so that should work there. Let's hit compile. Alright, so... I think we got a sophisticated quest system, then. If you love to see that for a third-person RPG, or flying AI characters, not actors, I'd like to learn how to get actual AI characters to fly and land, etc. I am not the AI person to ask. I'm atrocious at AI, personally. I need to do way more, like, learn a lot more stuff before I'm gonna teach AI on the channel, because I don't want to teach you guys some subpar garbage. Some AI slop, if you will. You know, so, yeah, I need to learn way more about that. I'm not the best person to teach that kind of stuff. Okay, so spawn rates... Yeah, sorry, this all worked, but it was failing here because we didn't set the spawn rates for anywhere. But now let's actually delete these. For some reason, I'm having a feeling... Yeah, delete. I have a feeling that what's failing is that the get all actors of class... I'm wondering if that's returning 0. We'll check that in 1 sec here. I just want to get this back into the world here. Is it in content? Enemy spawn manager. And I'll just stick a couple more of these out here. One more, sure. Break the game. Okay, let's... just because they all have spawn rates now, let's see what happens. So, nothing happened again. You know what? Oh, that didn't read anything. Local, set local. Okay, jeez. This I have to delete because this was just the enemy base. That's probably why we're getting the access none errors. Let's see here. No, we still got them. Set local cost. Let's see what happened here. So it's saying it can't find the set local cost. Was that in here? Oh, I don't need this anymore. This can go away. That's probably why it was failing, to be honest. So this just goes into here, and this goes into here. Whoops, sorry. This goes into here. Just go in your little pinhole, asshole. All right. Compile. Still nothing happened. Okay, what the F is going on here? Can't access done trying to read class property enemy class. Okay, so you can't read enemy class. Is there not something plugged in? There is. Oh, can't afford enemy. I'm just going to delete that because that's no more. Okay, spawn rates. Cannot read anything regarding enemy class. Why? I wonder if it's this. Like, I kind of knew casting would be a fucking mistake. Or not doing it would be a mistake. We'll see. I'm shocked that... I'm gonna change that, because it access none from enemy local enemy switch. Okay, so it's not getting any data from this guy here. So let's change this to a cast, and let's see what happens. Okay. In this project, you're not casting more than 3 times, because you're only going to put the type of enemies you want to spawn, which in this case we only have 3 in this project, depending on how many you have. You're not going to set every single enemy in the game in this blueprint, right? You're going to set based on whatever part of the level you're in, whatever ones you want to spawn there. So it shouldn't really be more than, I'd say, under 10 for sure. So let's cast to BP enemy class. Shoot, not from there, from here, from completed, because otherwise it won't work. Alright, now let's check and see if it works. That's so interesting. You moved a couple things around and that didn't work as it was working before. Interesting, it still didn't work. Okay, so I take back what I said. Still access none from this. I don't understand. How do you not have data? You had data before. Unreal doing some Unreal stuff. Let's put a breakpoint here, and let's figure out what the hell's going on here. Oh, I gotta, sorry, I gotta, where are you? Is it here? Yeah, here it is. Sure. Okay. Class unknown, you have nothing in you. Why would that be? It didn't execute this loot body at all. Okay, so there's nobody in there. We had, oh yeah, I mean the second time for sure because I deleted it, so that makes sense. Okay. Super dumb. Okay, so I guess we gotta set the enemies that are gonna go in here. Just in the, I know, we'll just do it manually here. Details. Enemies to spawn. We'll do these guys, and we'll do grunts, and we'll do specialists, and then I'm gonna just delete all of these and just duplicate this, because I don't want to do it again. Okay, there we go. Let's try it out. So obviously, probably good to put it as valid here, to avoid, I mean, mind you, that made us find the problem, right? So, by default, we probably could put a couple of enemies in here just so they don't, you know, you don't ever get that error, but that's probably the way to go, to be honest. So anyways, I'll close that, and then we'll keep going here, and we didn't get any enemies still. Now, why would that be? We're still getting, on the other screen there, we were still failing out of this. So, why would that be? So, specialist. Now we got the elite. Why can't we spawn? Because our budgets are 0. That's probably why, isn't it? But we have the budget being set. So here, let's open our blueprint debugger, and let's select our spawn managers, and then we're going to just search for the enemy budget. Is that what we called it? Enemy budget. So they're all set to 0, but they should be set to at least, unless I divided wrong. Maybe that's what happened. I just did the wrong thing here. Let's see. So that was in our enemy trigger, right? That we did that? Okay, so let's put a breakpoint here. That should have run already. Shit. Okay. Yeah, we should be getting a breakpoint pretty much immediately, or oh, when I overlap it. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's see what we got here. So level budget is 0. All right. Is it? I don't remember setting it as 0. I remember setting it as 200. So this is not working properly then. Why aren't you working? Get rid of it for a third-person character. We don't need him anymore. Let's put a breakpoint here, because it's obviously not returning the correct level blueprint. Yes, what level? Persistent level, so that's not what we want. So this is not the node we need. We need something else. Get level. I guess get level and then level object. This, like, in theory should work, so I'm super confused. I'm just gonna go to, is there anything to do with level here? No. Do I have, I don't, I'm gonna Google this guy. Because I don't know how to do it. The asset class is going into async load and is setting something as nothing. No, yeah, sorry, I'm just kidding. Budget. We need a budget. Yes, we need a budget, for sure. Google says to get a reference to an object in your level within the Unreal Engine level blueprint, select the object in the level viewport, open level blueprint, and then right-click. No, I know how to do that, dummy. How to get a reference to your level blueprint variables. Variable specific in the level blueprint, open the level blueprint, right-click event, graph, select create a reference to from context menu. You know what would avoid all of this is not using the level blueprint like I initially said, so why don't we just not do that? So let's just... this is in the trigger box. So screw this. Screw this. Let's just make a variable in here called level budget. But now the problem is you're going to have more than one enemy trigger. So maybe you need an enemy... we have a spawn manager. Let's create a... let's... In the game mode. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, maybe you're right. Do we have a game mode in here that's a blueprint? Let's see. Yeah. That's a good idea, Mark. Level budget. Or enemy level budget. And this will be an integer. Yeah, we'll set this at 200. And we'll implement that interface in here. Level blueprints. Okay, so that's done, and then the enemy trigger, we're gonna get game mode, and then we'll get enemy that. Yeah, the level blueprint is like basically a legacy thing that nobody really uses anymore, to be honest. The event might not have access due to the timer. That won't affect this blueprint. You're talking about in here, right? No, yeah, it was. This should work in theory with Mark's suggestion. Let's see here. Hey, look at that, everybody! It works. Look at all them peoples spawning in. That's a lot of people. 200 is a lot. But now we have the issue of people spawning in the air now. So how did that not work in terms of like them spawning? Literally the thing we spent the most time on in this whole thing, it's not working now. Oh, it's still spawning people. Yikes. Okay, what is going on there? I thought oh, I hit the trigger box again. That's what it was. So yeah, where's that trigger box? We need to destroy that. We need to just destroy this when this is done. Destroy. Oops, destroy actor. Because, like, that'll break your effing game in a hurry, won't it? Okay, so, yeah, they all... Did they spawn up there because... Well, why would this person spawn up there if they're not going to collide with anything? That's interesting. I wonder if we can change the location of that snap to be snap to actor or something like that. Or not snap to actor, but that was in the enemy, right? Enemy, set actor location. Teleport. Whether this trailer. Let's sweep, and then this is the return of the sweep, right? Yeah, and then can we move this? Let's see here. Never mind, the sweep's not going to help us. Because we just, yeah. Maybe we make this bigger too, minus... Because those guys were pretty high up in the air. I don't know, maybe like 400. Let's see what happens. That actually seemed to fix the issue, so that's nice. Great! Alright, look at all of our enemies we gotta fight. Oh no! I've been playing Ghosts of Yotai, everybody, and it's been interesting time. I still think Ghost of Tsushima was better. There was just like little game things that were better. Anyways, before I get into that, that's this system basically. So I will make this available, of course, to coffee members. If you guys want to get the project files, you can do that, or you can watch me struggle in the stream for 3 hours. Otherwise, it's up to you guys. But regardless, I appreciate you guys watching the stream here. We got them flying, yeah. Make the budget 10 so we don't play an alien game with a swarm, yeah. Well, you haven't played Everything Guys game yet. But anyways, sorry, game mode, right, is what we want. So game mode, I'll set it to... I think 10's too low, because that's dividing it up against 4, right? So it was spawning 50 people, or 50... The budget was 50 per thing, so maybe we do, like, 150, I guess. Let's see what 150 looks like. Significantly less. Man, even... There's... interesting. That there's still some people... Is it the end of the world if we tell it to not spawn if still colliding? Or will that just not spawn anybody? Sorry, spawn manager, here we go. Try to adjust but always spawn, try to adjust, don't spawn if still colliding. Let's see what that does. Okay, that actually fixed that issue, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Great, okay, so, I mean, it might reduce your budget slightly, but, yeah, I'm sure that, you can just play with that and see how it goes. What the frick is this? Oh, it didn't spawn. Okay, so that actually creates some errors. This is just saying that Unreal deleted it and it was pending garbage, so it couldn't set the enemy budget. Do we just add a thing to protect ourselves in there, like in here somewhere? Set. Or is it in the spawn manager? Yeah, let's add an is valid here. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, that, like I said, this will be available for members in the for nobles and up for project files. Or sorry, not for, it's for everybody, every member tier. So, anyways, Dominic, I appreciate the. Hope I can get the full stream and project files. Dominic, sure, I'll send it to you since you requested it, so that's no problem. Appreciate your donation, and I bet you wish, yeah. Yeah, well, I still don't know really how I would do that real-time, Fat Man, to be honest, but, anyways, I'll stay on for 5 more minutes. I'll answer any questions anybody has while I kind of clean this up. Yeah, number 1's escaping you again, yeah. So... but anyways, yeah, I started playing Ghost of Yotai. It's pretty good. A lot of the same mechanics are there as in Ghost of Tsushima, so it's like, in essence, like a glorified DLC. Story's different, obviously. Different character, all that kind of stuff. Instead of stances, you have weapons this time, though. So you don't have, like, different stances to fight different types of enemies. You have different types of weapons to fight different types of enemies. So that's different. There's a couple of, like, quality of life things that were really awesome in Ghost of Tsushima that I freaking... they didn't bring over into this one. It drives me crazy. One of them is in Ghost of Tsushima, enemies would not attack you if the camera was not looking at them. Like, you were not able to be attacked from behind at all. Like, it just did not happen. In Ghost of Yotai, totally different. It's like... they added a thing where if someone's gonna attack you from behind, it like glows like white on the screen to let you know something's coming from that side, and then you gotta like stress to like turn the camera around to like look at them. In Ghost of Tsushima, you were never attacked by more than one enemy at once. It was like, I don't know if that was just like a game design choice because, you know, samurai honorable, right? You wouldn't honorably like attack 2-on-1 necessarily, right? But in Ghost of Yotai, like, you'll have 3 guys on you, like, just, it's insane. And they all have different weapons, so you have to switch weapons constantly. And then you don't have enough time to, like, roll dodge or parry and, like, get ready for your next move. Like, by the time you're rolling, once you're done the rolling animation, you're already getting cut by, like, the next guy. So anyways, that's super frustrating. The fights are way harder in Ghost of Yotai than they were in Ghost of Tsushima, I will say. But, I mean, overall, I'm liking the game. It's good. It's worth the pickup. So... if you still need help on the CCTs, drop me a message. Oh, yeah, sure, man. We can link up in the Discord there and figure it out. But absolutely, sounds good. The CCTV system would be pretty cool. Anyways, I'm gonna add notes to this, and then I'm going to put the project files up in the Google Drive for the coffee members, so you guys can access that right away here. Hit compile. So yeah, hopefully this all made sense here to you guys. Anything in here, if you guys don't know what the hell it is or what it is, just let me know, obviously. And had a good old stream here today, so thanks for joining me, everybody. And as always, if you want to become a coffee member, consider joining The Realm. Head over to the coffee page, which is in the description below. Access to videos early, access to member-only streams. I got one coming up here for all the members, probably in a week or so. And it's going to be friggin' awesome, so check that out. You also get access to assets that I've made that's commercial ready, so you guys can use any of them in any project you want. Yeah, it's going to be a good old time here. So, alright, anyways, I will catch you guys on the flippity. Peace.